Palito. This is the last the last cemetery video I do. I used to like coming here. I used to like coming here. This is a sundial. It used to fascinate me because right now it's about 11:12 my time. And because daylight saving time, it's off a little bit. But it's a functioning sundial. Right now it's pointing right at 10 o'clock. If it wasn't for daylight saving time, it would be correct. Right now it would be 10 o'clock and not 11 o'clock. Yeah, I've always thought this was kind of fascinating. But I'm not talking about a sundial. Ooh. Kind of cool though. I ain't like it. Talking about, let's see, how do I even put it in words? I guess generations. I think one thing that kind of sort of fascinated me from a young age, coming out here to the cemetery. Well, I often would read the not necessarily the names always, but the dates, because the dates kind of, you see generations. You see people here that were born at a certain time, passing away at a certain time, and you look at what was the life they were living when they were born into, and what was the life like, what was the world like when they passed away. And even my own self, I was born in 1974. Things are a lot different in 1974, technology-wise, socially-wise, that are different now in 2025, that will be different in 2035, 45, depending on when my expiration date comes. And if I look at generations, how many generations, like these graves here, how many generations does a person, I'm trying to put it the right way, how many generations will pass before you're forgotten? That's what I'm trying to say. Like the Meeks, they're buried over there a little bit. Other than me, they were not even family. They're just, it was a passing memory I had of them. How many of their family has ever visited them? Their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. How many even know they're even out here? I knew my grandparents. I knew my uncles. I knew of my great uncle, Uncle Pete. He died 1978, 79. Right there at the Manor Stream Apartments, where my grandparents lived. He lived in the back of the side bedroom. He was in Conroe at the time. I guess he got at a certain age, he needed help. My grandmother moved her uncle into the house, and that's where he passed away. I remember him. I do remember seeing him at an old age. I was only about 4 or 5 years old. I remember him. I remember going out to Conroe. I remember going out to Livingston. I remember those vague memories. And all those people passed away in 1978, 1979. They all passed. That's when they passed away. And in theory, every cousin born afterwards had no visual memory of them, of them. And even my cousin Spring, I'll probably send this video to her. My cousin Spring, sometimes we talk about family, and she has no memory of Uncle Pete, because she was born 80 something, in the late 80s, or 89. I'm probably wrong, she's probably gonna kill me for it. But she was born after his passing away, so she never saw him. Never went down to Conroe, Texas, where they used to live, the old sawmill. I want to try to get out there. It's on tore down now, and everything is so all grown up and houses built. I don't think I can even get out there no more. I'll try though. She had no memory of the property, no memory of the sawmill, no memory of Uncle Pete. Yeah, and I know he's buried. He's buried up in Conroe area. And other than me and my cousins, my cousin Angel, Shelly, Kimbo, they knew. They're older than me a little bit. And they knew Uncle Pete. They knew of Uncle Pete, saw him. And so my grandparents, my grandmother, grandfather, my grandfather's still alive. I might try to do a video. I might sit down with him one day and do a video. I'm not sure how it's gonna work out. Yeah, it won't be a PG video, I don't think. But my grandparents, I know them. My cousins know them. All my cousins born before my grandmother passed away knew her. to a point. If you're born the day the year she passed away, yeah, no, that's different. But my cousin Spring, she knows my grandmother. You know, spent many years out there at my grandparents' place. Which I'm gonna go out there next. I'm gonna go out there, try to get out there, and try to. So much has changed out there too. It's crazy. Now, my cousin's children probably have no memory of my grandmother, because she had passed away in 2011, and at least Sadie, she was probably young, a little too young to remember. Maybe I say maybe, because if you're 4 years old and something you can recall things, remember things. It might be images, it might be impressions of it, but you know what I mean. So how many generations? One generation, two generations, maybe, and then all of a sudden, the person that used to be, how can I put this? So the person that used to be like an epicenter. You know, like okay, put it this way. My family, we're very fractured. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and it is what it is. It's no one's fault. No, you know, it's just not. Just the way it is. A lot of stupid stuff, and it's no one's fault, but there's a lot of stupid stuff that went on. When my grandmother was alive, she was kind of the glue that held everyone together, and everyone. I guess you could say orbited around her, a little place out in. Now it's the Woodlands. Back then she had a Spring address. I'm not sure what the address is now. It could be the Woodlands address now, as far as I know. And she, you know, when she passed away, you know, those orbits were already very loose orbits. A few times we would go get together, whole family get together, and a lot of times it was cordial, and sometimes it wasn't cordial. You know, my mama I ain't gonna lie, my mama's a hard person to deal with. And that's probably one reason why I don't go to her house too often. You know, sometimes she likes drama sometimes. And when she gets there, my cousin Angel get in the same room. It's like air and gasoline coming together. It's explosive. So they don't get along. It is what it is. No one's fault. So, you know, I haven't seen my cousins in years. I haven't seen none of my aunts really in years. When my uncle died, I wasn't invited to the funeral. You know, a lot of us was, my cousin wasn't. So, you know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. And so, a lot of my cousins, my second cousins, third cousins, never knew my grandparents. Now, my grandmother, she was cremated. I don't know who has ashes. I don't know who has them. It doesn't matter. But Uncle Pete, he's buried in Conroe, Texas. I know where he's buried. Who else knows where he's buried? When's the last time any of the cousins even went to his grave? You know? So, what is, you know, I see these graves out here. I see people that are buried in 1940s, 1950s. And I wonder how many generations have passed, and these people are buried here. No one even knows they're out here, because that photo of a person that was your mother's uncle. How, you know, there's no burying your life, so it's not important to you. So, you know, when I pass away, I'll probably get cremated, because there's no point in being out here, because again, I got no kids. And none of my cousins are gonna come visit me, I don't think. And yeah, I'm gonna be dead, taking up space basically out here. You know, I mean, that's taking up space, no one looking at me. So I look at these graves, and there was a young lady who buried. I can't find her grave now. I can't find it. Last name, I think her first name was Lisa. And I think my brain trying to say last name was Lincoln. She was like 10 years old, died in 1964, 65, if I remember right. Her grave, I can't find her grave now. Which is weird. It used to be just right past us. The sundial almost pointed to where the grave was. And kind of, you know, even at a young age, I wondered, you know, because the grave tarnished and it was turning coppery, and I wonder, 1964, 1965, how many people, parents, still alive maybe, have they visited her every day? I don't know. Siblings, have they visited? Don't know. You know, so yeah, what is the expiration? What is the cutoff point when you're just forgotten in life? And so I think that's something we don't always think about. Sometimes, you know, we don't really think about it. To really, you know, kind of sit down and try to think in your head, what is the oldest person in your family that you've actually met that aren't around no more? And have you went to the grave? Do you know where the grave? You know, the grave. People move around a lot. Do you know where the grave is? So yeah, yeah, it's kind of strange. Like over here, this little mausoleum over here. There's a young lady buried there, Jennifer Ertman. She was killed back in, oh man, 96, 93, 93. You know, the guys, you know, the two her and her friend got killed, and she's that's where she's over here in this little mausoleum. And you look at it now, it's like no one's visited. It's cobwebs on the thing. The flower thing's upside down. No flower. It's just, has anyone visited her since then? You know, and that's recent. I mean, that's kind of recent. So, you know, yeah, but I do see a lot of graves out here just kind of just buried, and they're sunken, and they're just, you know, that no one has visited this grave in years. A show I watched called Sidestep Adventure. He goes to old slave cemeteries and old, you know, just forgotten cemeteries in the woods, and like I think Alabama or Georgia, that's just lost. I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere, dirt road getting to it. You trunk a quarter mile through the woods, and here's a cemetery in the middle of the woods that no one even knows about. And a lot of times he'll go up there with his little broom and stuff, and he'll clean graves off. And he had I think he said it kind of says that people are forgotten all the time. But as long as, how does he put it? He puts it elegantly. As long as the person reads the name on that grave, the person is no longer forgotten. So every time you read a name on a grave, that kind of brings that person back into a memory, back into someone has seen that and pronounced and spoken that name. Put it that way. So I watch this channel sometimes, like, wow, I just, you know, you see graves in like 1800s, you know, and there's one guy that with him, he's like a local historian. He says, oh yeah, well, I know his grandfather, or my dad knew his great grandfather, and they're relative here, and their kin still lives in this county over here. And he'll kind of track people down and say, hey, they have relatives that still live here. And you know, and always the question always sort of is brought up in the YouTube channel is how many the relatives even know the cemetery is back in the woods? You know, probably not. So that's all I got by mumbling and jumbling. And I'm gonna get out of the cemetery. But yeah, this old sundial. This old sundial used to have a, you know, I used to come here and it's a functioning sundial, actually a functioning sundial. And I used to come there and always kind of admire, you know, that is a functioning sundial. And kind of reminds you of I guess, the patches of time. Because even without a, you know, back when I was growing up, we didn't have phones and stuff. You know, we had watch. A lot of times I didn't carry a watch on me. You know, I just, yeah, the passages of time throughout the day didn't really matter. And when I came here to the cemetery, this always kind of reminded me of the passage of time. So, yeah. That's all I got, really. The butterfly. Probably can't see in the camera. Little butterfly buzzing around. Little monarch butterfly. That's all I got. I want to head home. Get something to eat. Head home. It's like noon right now. Almost noon. 11:30, something like that. And but yeah, just think about that. Think about our time and how brief we are here, and how time sort of flies and everything. That's all I got. Hachi Pisa Lechki.